This is the weather forecast video for very early Wednesday, February 16th, 2011. First off, let's take a look at some current temperatures from around the state at a very early morning hour of midnight. We have some fairly cold temperatures, 28 at Clarinda and Lamar's, while the warmest readings are in the southeastern part of the state with pairs of 41s, Burlington and Fort Madison, and 43 in Keokuk. Now let's take a look around the country. You see lots of winter storm warnings out in the Sierra Nevadas and in the west coast, fog advisory in southwest Iowa and in the Central Plains, but everything else is rather tranquil. Let's look at the QPF chart for the next 5 days. Precipitation fairly light across the state, up to 1/4 of an inch or so. Now let's take a look at the 500 millibar chart of the GFS model run at noon tomorrow, or noon today. See a southwesterly flow with a trough over the west, and down below that at the surface you can still see a little bit of this light drizzle that's been falling is still probably going to be apparent, but not as much as yesterday. Thursday at noon you can see a shortwave trough moving into the northern plains, and on the surface you will see a low pressure over the northern part of Minnesota with a trailing cold front. A few showers are possible, but they will be fairly light. By Friday at noon that front has moved well to the east, colder air has moved down, be much colder Friday. Sunday morning we have a trough over the southwest, warm ridge over the central part of the country. Down below that a new low forms over the Kansas-Colorado border, a warm front extending over Iowa, most likely all rain, maybe some snow mixed in. By Monday morning at 6 a.m., that vortex has moved up into the Midwest over Iowa, and down below that, a low is right over the state. Cold air will be wrapping in behind it, but it looks like it'll stay mostly rain, maybe possibly mixed with snow in the extreme northern and western counties, but it should stay all rain. By Tuesday at noon, that has moved off. Another trough over the west, warm ridge over the east. Down below that one storm has moved way offshore. New storm forming over the Rockies, and by Wednesday evening, that trough is now over the western third of the country, with a vortex coming into the western part of the state, and down below that a low pressure over about northeastern Nebraska will be on the warm sector of that storm once again. Likely rain, maybe a thunderstorm, but I'm not too sure about that as we're into voodoo at this point. And way out into the forecast on March the 1st, some snow up to the north, and at the end of the forecast period on March 3rd, looks like a zonal pattern over the country, and down below that looks like pretty tranquil weather, although some snow over the Minnesota and not much else around this part of the world. Thank you for tuning in to the weather forecast video. We may have another one tomorrow, we may not.